Political party systems, they're supposed to represent the voice of the people. Tama po ba? But what happens when the very system built to include the unheard becomes a backdoor for the powerful? What happens when the ideal of representation is hijacked by those who already sits on the top? Today we're talking about the party list system in the Philippines, its original intentions, how it has evolved, or should I say devolved, and whether it still serves, it still delivers on its promises to be a voice for the marginalized. So let's go back to where it all began. The party list system was created in 1995 under the Republic Act of 7941 po. It was groundbreaking. Um, it is a mechanism designed to give unrepresented sectors a seat at the table. Farmers, fisher folks, women, youth, workers, indigenous people, and the urban poor. The goal, inclusion, representation, equity. It has a noble intention in a country where power has long been concentrated in the hands of a few political dynasties. But here's the problem. The system we have today looks very different from the vision that created it. Let's get real. In recent years, the party list system has been weaponized not by the marginalized, but by the mighty. Instead of being a platform of grassroots organizations, the party list has become a loophole, a gateway for political dynasties to sneak in even more power. According to the Philippine Centers for Investigative Journalism, in a 2016 report, more than half of party list groups had ties to political dynasties. That's right, tama po yun. 51% of the very groups meant to represent the marginalized were backed by the same families who already dominate traditional distinct elections. In 2019, the COMELEC, or Commissions on Elections, reported that only 18 out of 59, again, 18 out of 59 winning party lists genuinely represented the marginalized groups. The rest, many of it, were front for big businesses, political families, and power players. So instead of breaking the cycle of elitist politics, the party list has to often reinforce it po. So let's break it down. Political dynasties have created or backed party list groups to expand their reach. Politicians switch affiliations to party lists that offer them easier path to Congress, and some groups pretend to serve a cause only to disappear once they win. And this is not just a problem of legality. It's a crisis of integrity po. Now, the big question, is the party list system still worth saving? Sagot ko po, yes, but only with a serious reform. So let's talk about solutions. Number one, um, problema, vague qualifications. It really breeds exploitation. The law doesn't impose a distinct standard on who can form a party list. That leaves the door wide open for opportunists. We need to tighten the criteria. Groups should be legitimately tied to the sectors they claim to represent, with documented community work, proven service, and transparency. Number two, the party list system can't fix a broken culture of dynasties. Now, even if we fix party list mechanism, political dynasties still dominate both national and local elections. What we really need, ang kailangan po ng Pilipinas, is a strong anti-dynasty law. Kailangan na pong ilabas na po yun. And a serious crackdown on patronage politics. Lesson number three, voters must be vigilant. So let's be honest. Many of us vote based on names, slogans, celebrity, popularity, or convenience. But we need to go deeper. Voters should scrutinize platforms, check track records, and call out inconsistencies po. If a party list claims to represent farmers, but the nominee is a millionaire with zero experience, zero background of agriculture, then that's a red flag. Bakit niyo po iboto yun? So, what now? If we want real change, we must, number one, reform the qualifications for party list groups. Number two po, we must push laws to dismantle the grip of dynasties. And number three, we should educate and empower voters to choose wisely. The party list system was meant to give a voice to the voiceless, but if we allow it to be corrupted by the forces it sought to challenge po, we might be silencing those who need it the most. Thanks for tuning in today. The conversation doesn't really end here. On my other episode, I was speaking to Mugs Maglana. She's a brave independent candidate who ran for Davao City's first district Congress, challenging the dynasty narrative head on. She offers fresh, fearless insights on party list reforms and the future of Philippine democracy. So if you care about real representation, you don't want to miss that one. Until then, we keep questioning, we keep on learning, and keep on fighting for a system that serves all, not just the few and the powerful. See you on the other side.